everyone, and welcome to the Jefferson Chamber's Vision and Voice series sponsored by Atmos Energy. I am pleased to be joined here today with Giorgio, CEO of Select Properties, and Pat LeBlanc, of Counsel of LeBlanc, Fantasie, and Vilio LLC. I'm Ruth Lawson with the Jefferson Chamber. We are excited to announce that we will be celebrating the Chamber's 25th anniversary year in 2022. We are pleased to display our 25th anniversary logo to you so that you will be seeing all throughout our communication throughout the year. And we also be hosting a 25th anniversary bash at the end of the year. So I am very happy to be joined by two of our founding members today. Giorgio served as our first chair in 1998, and Pat LeBlanc followed him in 1999 as our second chair. So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. So you all have been both instrumental in the formation of the Chamber and the creation. Pat, can you talk about how the Chamber was formed and your involvement in the creation of the Chamber?
25 years ago. That's a long time. It's hard to believe it's been 25
I think you were 13.
Yeah, I guess I can, we really formed it as a result of what we saw was a desire on the Jefferson community to have our own voice, essentially, and really to address strictly Jefferson Parish issues. And I think what we discovered pretty quickly was that there was a tremendous appetite to satisfy that particular role, and so that's how we got started. And our first year, our goal was 50 members, 50 members at $1,000 a pop, and I thought it was going to be really hard to raise that. It turned out to be really not that hard, and a lot of enthusiasm starting right in the beginning.
Well, that's great. 50
Your number
members.
jumped to 100, I think. Huh?
It did, yeah. Well, once we got to 50, we realized we could go. There was a lot left. So so for that first year.
So there was a lot of interest, and now we're at over 900 members, right. Which is phenomenal. And you spoke to being the voice of business, and I think that is something that we are also proud of as the Chamber, is being the voice of business in Jefferson Parish, and not only in Jefferson Parish, but also the region. So I know, Lee, you were also very instrumental in the formation of the Chamber. You know, why did you see the need for a Chamber of Commerce in Jefferson Parish?
Because Pat told me I needed to.
She's a persuasive lady, right?
She was very persuasive back there, and I was trying to rent a space at the time. And
yeah, that's true.
So that's how we first met, and then I couldn't spell chamber.
You could.
And there were some others that were involved with the Chamber in New Orleans that I wasn't. And really, their thoughts were more, if it's good for New Orleans, good for Jefferson Parish,
okay.
It trickled down. But really, the parochial issues and priorities we had were different, and that's which intrigued me from a business standpoint. So that's kind of how I got roped in with the charter members, and then again, it really just took off, and it grew quickly.
Our theme, really, Ruth, at that point, and something you said made me remember it, was we didn't want any antagonism with Orleans.
Right.
Our message to everyone was a stronger partner is a better partner.
Right. And
so if we could build our chamber, we could work with New Orleans, and in truth, that's exactly what has happened.
Right.
So we've been,
We even extended, when I became chairman, I didn't want people to think that we were, a renegade,
right.
new group that wanted to change everything in the world. But we offered a board seat. Okay. And we asked them to reciprocate because they were saying we're going to kill regionalism. Well, that wasn't happening, and we said, you're welcome to come in and let's make the region better. So they didn't they did finally about 2 or 3 years later, but the first year or two we asked them, they didn't participate.
They didn't participate. Well, I know that's always been something that's very important to the Chamber, and like I said, being the voice of business for not only Jefferson Parish, which I know that you all were both heavily involved in, but also the region. So from what I understand, you were also involved with our first office building, right?
I was. Well, again, it was Airline Highway was kind of a seedy area at one time, and I had wound up acquiring the old Pelican building.
Certainly.
And again, that was our first office. It was in the Pelican building. So, and the building was empty, and we had to redevelop it, and the Chamber was right there from the start. So
it was a perfect spot for us.
Yeah, it worked out great.
We we were very fortunate that Lee was very accommodating in a lot of different ways that really did help us with a meeting spot which was visible and plentiful. So that played a big role for us.
Well, that's wonderful. So I know that you have both dedicated countless hours of your time, of your expertise in the Chamber of Commerce, and there's so many things that you have been instrumental in succeeding with the Chamber. So what do you believe are your crowning achievements? What are you most proud of in being involved with the Chamber?
Well, I would think a lot of the success of the Chamber has been the people.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And if I had to reflect on anything, is the relationship with the people over these 25 years. These people have become good friends and like family. And the fact that the Chamber were a little bit different besides just a networking chamber, but we took issues and we wanted to make an impact and not just be a networking thing. We wanted to network, we wanted to have fun.
Right.
And we did a lot of that we enjoyed, yeah. We enjoyed, the business aspect of it, but then we enjoyed the people aspect of it too, and the culture and education that we played a major role in, and we saw returns immediately.
Right.
And that really just kind of pushed it on.
And I can attest to that, just seeing how involved every member of the board is in the Chamber, and how you all have been involved for over 25 years and still attend, if not all, most of our functions. So we're very appreciative of you as founding members, and it needs to be known how engaged our board and our members are, and it's something that we should be very proud of. Is there something you want to add, Pat? Is something that you're very...
I absolutely would echo what Lee said. I mean, certainly there have been issues, and there have been some important issues that and some controversial ones. I can remember some meetings that were a little tough.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what I think we really have learned is that when in the process of building a big chamber, and it is a big chamber, and it's a successful chamber, but in the process of doing that, it's the relationships that we've made that really you look back on and think, wow, that was really cool.
Yeah.
This has been a real important part of my life. Right. It really is. So there you go.
And Pat made me famous with that, because one of the first big challenges we had was our area code 504, yes. And we were going to lose the area code, and we were going to be given a Baton Rouge area code, and it made no sense whatsoever. It was kind of a political thing, and again, we took it on. Mm-hmm. I got to do some TV work and radio work more than I wanted to, but once you educated the public on what the problem and the economics of it, when you start talking about changing all your business cards, your stationery, and your existence, mm-hmm.
That
for a communications line, it's a big deal. Yeah. So we went to Baton Rouge a lot. So initially we were very parochial into
mm-hmm.
the Jefferson Parish mm-hmm. things, but in time we grew out of that.
Certainly.
And again, that was one big skin we got on the wall, and that was before we had any idea what we were doing.
And I think that's a lot that I heard as I entered the organization as president is we need for the organization to remain bold and brave, mm-hmm. and those are things that the chamber took on in the past that maybe wasn't the popular opinion politically mm-hmm. or popular amongst the people, but we were able to educate them and let them know what was important and the economics of it, like you mentioned. Is there any other issues that you've seen over the last 25 years that you saw the chamber taking a bold, brave, proactive approach?
I'll tell you one that I don't know if I would say it was bold would be the right word, but the completion of the Huey Long Bridge yes. was something that was very important to us from a business point of view, and it was slowing. It was mm-hmm. just not. There wasn't the attention and the drive to push that project along, and I think pretty much our whole board, everyone got engaged in just, this is an important project, and just, bringing some energy and some passion to that project and saying it's important that we get this done. And that was, I think one of the big examples there is our partnership. Really, we've been so blessed to have partnerships with elected officials, appointed folks, and bringing those powers to be, to the table together to make stuff happen. And the Huey Long is the one that stands out in my mind, getting that completed on time and, making it move.
Right. And that's wonderful. I know, like we spoke about, sometimes we have to take a bold stance politically that maybe isn't always favorited, but we also work so well with our elected officials and our partners with JEDCO and GNO Inc. to make sure that the initiatives that are important to the business community are carried forward and loud and heard. What do you think are, the assets that the Chamber brings to businesses, maybe prospective members or current members? What do you believe are its biggest assets to its members?
Well, again, I think the relationships have been huge, and at the same time, it's been, the mission has been more than just one of being a chamber, but making an impact. Right. And again, if I had to think of something was a big change in the history, was Katrina. And Katrina changed everything for us, and the fact that you had to roll up your sleeves and get involved. And then prior to that, I mentioned parochialism before, and a lot of people like to just be in Jefferson Parish. But when we got hit with Katrina, we quickly realized that you can't just sit in Jefferson Parish. So we were involved with the state, and then we had to go to the federal level. Right. And you had to track where the money came from. And if you weren't asking, you weren't getting. And if you wasn't in the face of our congressmen and senators and to get your fair share for Jefferson Parish. So if you want to help Jefferson Parish, we had to go to Baton Rouge, we had to go to Washington. And that's been transcended through the years. And really, that's made our chamber different and more impactful than most chambers you ever see around. And besides being the accreditation, which is extremely important and one of the few, it really made a difference, and it really set another standard for the organization, and they've met that challenge.
Yeah, and we continue to work at the local level constantly, but the state level with our evening in the legislature, the time that we spend at the state legislature while they're in session, and then also at the federal level, our activism in Washington D.C., Mardi Gras, as well as the fly-in. So I know each of you have attended those events, and they've been important, and those relationships are so important at all levels, the local, the state, and the federal level. So I know that you've been instrumental in building those relationships and maintaining those, and we're happy that the Chamber has been a part of that. So what do you think the future holds for the Chamber as we continue, into our 26th year next year? How do you see the vision of the agency, and what are your dreams for the Chamber?
Well, I would say, we need to continue and continue what we've been doing and be mindful of the important place that we've kind of built for ourselves, or our important relationships with not only with chamber members, with business members, but with school board members, with members of the legislature, with the parish council, with law enforcement. What we've really, as I look back on it, I think we've got relationships across the board with all of those agencies. And I don't mean just passing relationships. I think we've had reason to work with elected and appointed folks, over the years, and have just been fortunate that we really have been able to, if we have a concern, get it addressed, and get it addressed quickly. So, that's what I would say. I think that's what we need to continue to work on and focus. One of the things, a lot of these issues are not things that are easy to deal with or quickly handled. And that's one of the lessons you learn, is government does tend to move slowly. But you've got to be patient, you've got to be thorough, and that's, I think, what the Chamber needs to continue to do.
Great. Is there any fond memories, specific events that stand out in your mind of the Chamber? I know you mentioned we always have fun. What are some particular events or networking opportunities that stand out as fun and memorable to you?
Oh, fun! That I was chairman. All the fun things, I was chairperson.
I'll take credit for.
Well,
the final.
The 23 years I've hosted the crawfish ball,
Yeah.
which has turned out to be quite an event, and now we get probably about 600-700 people show up, and it's all the right people for networking. And rain is, we used to always advertise because we first started when we were at the Pelican building, so I had a garage. And then when we moved to this building here, we had a garage. So we always say, rain and shine, we're having it. The crawfish ball is on. So that's been for 23 years now that we've been doing that. And then Washington Mardi Gras has been a unbelievable signature event. I mean, and to see what the chamber puts on, we bring up about 200 people up to Washington D.C. And again, that kind of happened as a result of after Katrina and going to Washington so much that we started getting involved with the Washington Mardi Gras and with our congressional group. So you could go up there and you could work and you can have fun too. And a lot of things we've done through life, we've worked very hard, but we've had a lot of fun doing it, and shared a lot of memories with a lot of people, and it's really kind of a family kind of thing. So it's been a good ride.
Well, great. And I know, as you work hard, you also want to have fun doing it, and that makes you return. Right. Is there anything else, Pat, that you want to add? Some of your fond memories of chamber events or successes that you have?
I've got way too many memories of lots of fun. And I mean, as I look back, there are a lot of just friendships that you learn, that you cherish, and that I certainly intend to stay involved and continue to do that and enjoy those friends. So.
Well, thank you. Is there anything else you want to add, Lee?
I do, briefly though, but one of the greater joys that I've seen, because I'm a very hands-on, controlling type person, not as bad as Sue Roy, who works in my office and does a lot with Washington Mardi Gras. Without her, we couldn't do it.
No.
But to see it grow and that it can stand on its own, and we've had some leadership come out of this organization that's just been terrific. If you just look across the board at different organizations that people are in, they might be an officer here, but they're in JBC, they're on a school board. I mean, it's a good development ground, and it's proven itself through the years. And again, as you know, thanks to Todd Murphy's retirement here, that we have you, and we're looking forward to that new ground to break. And but Todd did a terrific job. And it was kind of with a couple of leaders, I was like, I don't want to let go. I don't trust. Do I trust you? Pat, do you trust them? Type of thing. Yeah. But it's really worked out well. And when I look back and reflect on it, the leadership that's come out of this organization has just been absolutely wonderful.
Well, thank you both for your time today, and certainly your passionate service to the chamber. I mean, 25 years from the formation of the chamber, and then you're still so engaged and involved with the chamber today, and we're so appreciative of it. I'm appreciative of it. You've both helped me in my onboarding at the chamber, and so thank you for being here with me today.
Well, thank you.
It's my pleasure.
We'd also like to thank Atmos Energy for sponsoring this Vision and Voice series, and we would like to unveil our 25th logo anniversary, which you'll be seeing through all of our communications. Thank you for joining us today. If you need anything, please reach out to us and visit our website at www.jeffersonchamber.org. Thank you.